Hey, what's up? Mrparka here. I want to take this time. I'm going to talk about 10 movies that are semi-mainstream or semi-big films that recently came out in the last couple years, or possibly, not necessarily mainstream. I just thought would get a lot of recognition on their own. I didn't feel there would be just each video would need its own review. But these are 10 movies I really liked that you guys typically wouldn't get to see me talk about. So here we go. First and foremost is Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Yeah, this is kind of like a movie that plays into the slasher genre, kind of knowing its points, and it makes a really great comedy. It's these two hillbillies go to fix up a summer home, and they get accused of murdering these kids that are accidentally killing themselves because they're trying to get these hillbillies who they think accidentally kidnapped their friends. It's filled with a lot of hilarious things that play into the cliches. My personal favorite scene is they go out in the woods to try to get attention of the college kids and tell them that they have their friend who hurt themselves and they took in and helped. And what is it, Alan Tudyk, I think is how you say his name. He is like, college kids! College kids! It's hilarious. And they're like, we got your friend! And it just looks like they're complete monsters, like crazy redneck hillbillies, and they're not. And I just think it plays into those cliches amazingly well. It's a really, really funny movie and really well made. And then we have Super, which I would have probably never got if I didn't hear about 1,000 people say how great it was. And I was thinking, really? I mean, it looked like something like Kick-Ass, which never really thought I would enjoy, like Kick-Ass, but basically you have Rainn Wilson in a tailor-made role for him. He plays this kind of down-on-his-luck loser. Well, not necessarily. I don't want to use that term, down-on-his-luck, but he's just this cook, and he meets this drug-addict girl a long time ago, and they fall in love, and he's starting to lose her to drugs, so he eventually loses her, so he ends up trying to get her back, and he decides to become a superhero. Through watching this television program and feeling these weird change events, he thinks that he's chosen to be the superhero. He thinks he was touched by the hand of God, so he becomes the Crimson Bolt. And along with a sidekick that's a college kid that's obsessed with him, Ellen Page, he ends up going out and fighting crime. And at first, you get a lot of gags, you get a lot of jokes. The soundtrack's really catchy, really amazing, but it gets really serious at the end and really graphic and really amazing and really dramatic. And it gets amazing, and it has a great ending. That is, I think the ending's not forced. I think the ending's a more realistic approach how it's done, and things happen that probably could happen that you typically wouldn't see in a movie. But Kevin Bacon's also in. He plays the creep. He does a great job. And Michael Rooker's like his bodyguard. He just hates what he's doing, you can tell, and he does a great job as well. Rainn Wilson, though, is perfect in the film. I think that Rainn Wilson stole the show. James Gunn directed this, and he did Slither, which is pretty decent, and as well, he wrote the Dawn of the Dead remake script, which I didn't have any problems with except the zombie baby. But then we have Red State by Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith takes a chance at making a horror film, or kind of like a horror film, something a lot different from what he typically does, and he does an amazing job at it. This has starts off as your typical exploitation movie. Three kids go out to have sex with this woman, and what happens is they're lured into like this group where it's this religious fanatics a la Fred Phelps type deal, led by Mike Parks, and they're going to kill them. They're been killing homosexuals, and they're also blackmailing this cop who's a homosexual, and what happens is to try to get back at them, he calls the ATF, which is the gun administration place, a gun and drug thing, and they're going to put a search warrant in the house, and a whole bunch of things fall through, and it ends up being a giant firefight. John Goodman's the ATF agent, and he's amazing in it. Kevin Pollak has a small role in it. All the acting's great, but John Goodman and Michael Parks steal the show. It's got a lot of tension. It's got the story unravels itself really well, and it seemingly has some almost Quentin Tarantino-like dialogue at the end, especially John Goodman, but I really like that film as well. I thought it was a really amazing film. This is by Alex de la Iglesia. He also did Action Mutante and Day of the Beast, which I have not seen. I do own both of them. I'll get around to it. But this is The Last Circus. This trailer caught my attention. It just looked completely wild. This is just a very, very, I guess it's pretty complex and weird. This clown is in love with this woman, and she's being beat. They're in a circus. It has a lot of history with his father being a clown, and the kid had a hard life through war and poverty and things like that. His father was in prison the whole time because of some war and some uprising. So his dad tells him he has to be a sad clown. He can't be a happy clown. It runs in their family. So he's like this sad clown, and he falls in love with this woman who's in an abusive relationship with another clown. And what happens is they kind of have this fight over the girl, and both of them go completely insane and end up having like this giant arch nemesis thing going on. And it's a really great film. It's got really great music. It's got a lot of visually stunning, amazing things, and it has some funny moments. The Last Circus is a really unique film that is different, and I really enjoyed it. And I think it's nice that they bring circus back into horror, because a lot of horror movies originated from the circus, and you don't really see that many circus horror movies anymore. Then we have Chillerama, which is a horror anthology. Pretty wild and weird movie here. The horror anthology has like 4 shorts in it. The wraparound story is my personal favorite. It has a great zombie scene. It's Richard Reichel. I always call him Reichel. I know people say it's a different name, but that's what I've always referred to him as, and no one's ever corrected me in person. No one probably knew who he was, but anyways, the guy from Grounded for Life, the grandfather, he plays this old projectionist who does film, and anyways, there's a zombie apocalypse during the wraparound story, and at the end, he's quoting all these movies, and it's a really great scene. The other stories in there are really fun as well. The one, the Godzilla type story with the giant sperm is classic hilarity. There's also Diary of Anne Frankenstein, which is really funny, black and white type deal. It's just a great little throwback here. A lot of people have a problem with the I Was a Teenage Werebear short, because they're kind of it does make people feel a little uncomfortable, because it's really a lot of homosexual things in there. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a bit long, though. It has like Lost Boys, surfer type deal, all mixed in there, werewolf. But personally, I thought the wraparound story with the zombies was the best, and the opening story with the sperm, the giant sperm. But this is a really fun movie, really awesome. Has a lot of fun things going for it. The Dead, which is this kind of a zombie film that takes place in Africa of all places. Africa is a pretty place that's always in turmoil. To add a zombie apocalypse in Africa is just horrifying as it is. I think this film is really great because it incorporates a lot of Romero style. I mean, I know it's nice to see the zombies be, these zombies are computer zombies, these zombies are dancing zombies, these zombies eat chocolate all the time. There's just so many ways to do zombies, and it's all been done. It's kind of nice to see somebody do zombies straightforward again with the Romero style. This one feels like it has equal parts Romero and Fulci in there. The zombies are very Fulci-ish, they're very creepy. I think the setting reminds me of a Fulci setting. I mean, the isolation, the creepiness, the zombies never stop coming, and the hopelessness, and the similarities of Romero as well. But I think this is a really great film. I think it's one of the best zombie films I've seen in a very, very long time. If Shaun of the Dead never been made, this probably would be the best zombie movie in the last 10 years or so. But that is The Dead, a great film. And then we have Dear Mr. Gacy. I'm going to mention this because there's not that many great serial killer films out there. To be honest, there's a lot of great serial killer films, but for every one, there's like 3 bad ones. And Dear Mr. Gacy is great. It's based on a true story. I think it's great because Willem Forsythe plays John Gacy, and he does an amazing job. The things he says are utterly creepy, as in, I couldn't stop fidgeting my hands and was upset at what he was saying. I was physically like, oh my god, I can't believe he's saying that. Mentally, it was not easy to take. I thought that that William Forsythe really made this movie, and I think that this film is well worth watching just for his performance alone. I'm not going to talk about this one too much, The Human Centipede 2, because I did a review for it. But I really love this movie. I think that people that were fans or hated the first one said it didn't have enough violence. The director went out and pushed that envelope so much more just to make everyone sick. And this one is truly one of the sickest mainstream or semi-mainstream films I've ever seen. The budget is high, and it's just completely insane. But it actually is this psycho making the centipede from the movie, so it's completely medically inaccurate, and he does some horrible things to these people, and it's all in black and white. I really liked it. A lot of people hate it, and I guess I can understand why some people would dislike it, but I'm not one of them. I love it. And then we have Drive, which caught me by surprise. I thought it looked good, but I'm not a big car fan. I'm not big on car movies. Maybe old ones, because it's real cars, real wrecks, real crashes. That's cool, but none of this CGI bro-ha stuff like, yeah, bro, I got my 670, 711, send my shift there. I don't know what the hell they're saying. I don't care. I don't like the actors in those movies. I don't like how they're shot. I just don't like that type of film. I just don't like Fast and Furious, not for me. But we have Drive, which does not really involve cars as much as someone would think. It's kind of like this crime story. And Ryan Gosling, who I was never a huge fan of, never hated him. I thought he always did well. Does a great job in this film. Albert Brooks is top-notch in it as well. He ends up kind of screwing over these crime guys, not necessarily on purpose, for a woman he likes. And it's a lot more complicated than that. But there's a lot of revenge. And this film does not jam-pack with violence, but the scenes that do have violence in it are very intense and very gripping. And the film does have a very good set of suspense to it. I would really recommend Drive. And the score is amazing. Anyone here to score, the shots, it's just really great film. Then we have the Snowtown, or I guess this one's just called Snowtown here, but it's going to be released as the Snowtown Murders, and in the United States. And this film I just recently watched, and I must say I was really surprised with this. Based on a true story by the Australian serial killer John Bunning and a group of people that he kind of talked into doing this or coerced into doing these murders. At first he's picking pedophiles, people that are actually socially non-acceptable, and eventually he chooses other people as well. But I must say I was really impressed with this film. I thought the two leads, John and Jamie, were amazingly great, and I thought they did a tremendous job. I thought the film was shot really well, and I thought that it was genuinely disturbing and unsettling and hard to watch, as it should be, considering it's a film about 12 murders. And the film, some people might have problems with it because it's not necessarily as straightforward. If you don't know the case that much, I had to look into the case a little bit, and I was like, okay, I understand a lot more. Some people may be lost. But there are some scenes in this film that are just jaw-dropping, and it's all true from what I understand. The kangaroo scene is very jaw-dropping, the animal slaughter, and there's a rape scene in here, which I was just like, it didn't think it was going to be a rape scene when it was happening, and then it was, and I was just thinking, oh dear, that's just horrible. And there's a couple scenes just in there. It's just a gut-wrenching film experience with great acting and professionally well made. You don't get to see a lot of serial killer films that are this good, to be honest. This is a treat if you like serial killer films. If you like being miserable, this is a treat. That is Snowtown, or the Snowtown Murder is going to be released. This is a UK import. But those are the movies I chose. I chose 10, I believe 10, that I thought were pretty cool that I never would get to talk about. But thank you for watching. Have a good one.